Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel Code with Ruby. Today we will be talking about OOPS concept. So what is procedure-oriented programming? Procedure-oriented programming is a programming in which a task is subdivided into subtasks and these subtasks are performed sequentially. The functions or subtasks are controlled by the main function. So the example of procedure-oriented programming languages are C, Pascal, Fortran, etc. Next, we come to what is object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is a programming in which we uses concept of objects and classes. Object means anything which we can see or what exists physically is called object. And classes is the collection of objects, or we can say a blueprint to create object. Here, the main task is divided into modules, which called classes, and each module contains data and methods, which called functions. So, a class having main method will be divided into several classes like class 1, class 2, class 3, and then each of the class will have data and methods as shown in the figure. Example of object-oriented programming languages are C++, Java, Python, etc. There are 5 basics of OOPS concept, which are object and classes, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Object and classes. Object is anything which exists physically in the world and performs certain actions, and it should have some properties. So, the properties will be represented by variables in the program and actions which it performs will be represented by methods. For example, we take a person whose name is Ruby. So it will have certain properties like name is Ruby, certain address will be, and it performs some actions like teaching, etc. Now we come to class. So class is a model to create objects. It is also similar to objects, but it do not exist physically. For example, employee class will not exist physically, but it is a collection of different employees whose name is something like Ruby, uh, Ruhi, etc. Next is encapsulation. Encapsulation means binding of data variables and methods together. So it is way to hide the data from the outside of the class. For that, we declare variables as private and methods as public so that we can hide the data implementation and we can also use the method implemented here from outside classes. So it is a way to protect the data from the outside classes or the world. Abstraction is hiding the unnecessary or sensitive data from the outside world and showing only what is required or legal to the outside classes. For example, in a bank, user can only see his details and not other user details and not the complex details of the bank. So it is showing only the what is required to that user, like class bank will have private int account number, private float balance, and private float loan. Now let us talk about inheritance. Inheritance is acquiring the existing feature of a class by its subclass. So the features which are methods and variables of a class is acquired by the new subclass, and it will have certain methods also which will be the new methods. The parent class is called as a superclass and this child class is known as subclass. In real life, we see that a child acquires the feature of his parents and will have certain other features also. So that is example of inheritance in real life. In programming, a keyword extends is used to inherit the superclass to its subclass. So now let us talk about class A, which is having certain variables num and name and a method 1. So when class B inherits class A, it will have the variables of class A and methods of class A, including its own variables and methods. Now we'll be talking about polymorphism. So the word polymorphism has poly and morph. Poly means many and morph means forms. So polymorphism means having many forms. A method can be used in many forms, that is called as polymorphism. It occurs when the inheritance are there, means the classes are related to each other. For example, in real life, a man can be a son, husband, father, friend, etc., depending on the situation. So, a, a man has many forms. So, now we'll be talking about the example of polymorphism. Here we have a class polygon from which class triangle and class circle is inherited. Class polygon has a method area and the same method is used by both classes, which is triangle and circle. So the same method acts different in different classes. So that is called polymorphism. Now we came to end of the session, which is review questions. So first question is what is difference between objects and classes? Second is what is difference between encapsulation and abstraction? And last is what is polymorphism? Please write your answer in the comment section below. See you in the next session. Bye. Take care.